It's funny. People spend their whole lives telling you what you can't do, what you'll never be, what you should fear, what you should hide from, what you should surrender to. They build these little boxes, wrap them in doubt, tie them with judgment, and expect you to live inside them like it's some kind of gift. But here you are, standing outside every box they built, holding the proof that you weren't the problem. Their expectations were. And now that you've passed, now that you've broken through, the same voices that tried to bury you are about to choke on their own surprise. Because the truth is, nothing shakes people more than watching someone rise after they swore you wouldn't. Their words are about to collapse under the weight of your reality. And it's going to blow their minds. People doubt you because it's easier than admitting they fear your potential. It's almost amusing how predictable it is. The moment someone sees even a flicker of strength in you, the moment they sense something dangerous, something uncontainable, something that refuses to bow, suddenly they become experts on why you'll fail. They wrap their insecurities in pretty little speeches and hand them to you like warnings. But they're not warning you. They're warning themselves. They're trying to calm that shaking feeling inside their ribs, that little whisper telling them you might just outgrow every limitation they've ever known. They can't admit that you scare them, so they disguise it as concern or realism. Like they've seen the universe's blueprint and you're not in the final draft. But what they're really terrified of is the possibility that you can rise without their approval, without their permission, without their validation. They fear the moment you stop listening, stop waiting, stop seeking their nod of acceptance. Because once that happens, once you break free from the orientation of their opinions, you become something unpredictable, and nothing frightens small minds more than unpredictability. It's hilarious how people pretend their doubts are logic. They dress insecurity in rational language, polish it with polite smiles, and push it toward you like a neatly packaged truth. But deep down, behind all that surface-level confidence, sits a trembling awareness that you might be capable of things they could never attempt. They fear you because you see what they pretend isn't there. They fear you because you look at walls and see doors. They fear you because every time life tried to bury you, you clawed your way out like someone who refuses to stay small. Their doubt speaks louder about them than it ever did about you. They doubt you because they've already surrendered in their own lives. They doubt you because they've accepted mediocrity as destiny. They doubt you because the idea of pushing beyond comfort feels like torture to them. So when they see someone like you, restless, unpredictable, unwilling to settle, it reminds them of everything they walked away from. Suddenly you become a mirror they can't stand to look into. And their only defense is to convince themselves that you're the problem, not the reflection. They'll say you're reckless, unrealistic, too ambitious, too intense, too driven. They'll throw every label they can at you, hoping one sticks. Not because it's true, but because if they can make you believe it, then they won't have to confront the truth that they quit long before you ever began. Doubt is their shield. Mockery is their armor. Minimizing you is their last attempt at minimizing their own regret. And the funniest part, they don't even realize how transparent it is. Their voices tremble when they speak about your limits. Their eyes shift when they say you can't do it. Their smiles crack at the edges when you talk about your goals. They're not confident. They're terrified. Terrified that you'll succeed. Terrified that they'll have to watch you rise. Terrified that your existence will expose their excuses. You want to know why they're so loud when they doubt you. Because they think if they say it enough times, you might believe it too. They think if they repeat it, echo it, spread it, it might infect you. But here's the twist. Doubt only works on people who stop moving. And you never stopped. You never folded. You never sank into their expectations the way they hoped you would. Every step you took made their doubts shake harder. Every moment you grew, they shrank a little more. Your potential became the storm they prayed wouldn't come. And now they're watching it unfold, powerless to stop it. Passing isn't just a result. It's a disruption that exposes every underestimated belief about you. It's that delicious moment when the world realizes the script they wrote for you no longer fits, when the neat little box they built starts cracking at the corners. People love to predict your failure because it makes them feel safe. It reassures them that the world is orderly, predictable, that the roles stay the same. You lose, they win. You shrink, they stay comfortable. But the second you pass, the second you break through the ceiling they swore was unbreakable, you become a glitch in their tidy little system, a reminder that their certainty was nothing more than fragile guesswork. They don't know what to do with someone who refuses to follow the narrative. Their voices get shaky, their smiles forced, because your success becomes an interruption they never prepared for. You can see it in their eyes, that flash of confusion, that moment of mental scrambling as they try to rewrite the story in real time. They start looking for explanations, excuses, anything to convince themselves this wasn't them being wrong about you, just you being lucky. They cling to luck because admitting they misjudged you would mean admitting they never understood you in the first place. Your achievement doesn't just elevate you, it exposes them. Every doubt they threw, every smirk they hid, every whispered prediction of your downfall starts echoing back at them like a taunt. Passing becomes your spotlight, but it also becomes their mirror, and mirrors are unforgiving things. They show you exactly what you are, and they show them exactly what they denied. Suddenly, the person they dismissed is standing in front of them with proof, and nothing makes people more uncomfortable than facing the evidence of their own underestimation. It's almost funny how quickly their tone shifts. Before you pass, they speak with authority, with certainty, as if they've already read the final page of your story. After you pass, they start fumbling, stuttering, trying to adjust their opinions like rearranging broken pieces. They want to congratulate you without acknowledging they never believed in you. They want to celebrate with you without confronting the truth, that they secretly wanted to see you fall. Their applause becomes awkward, their praise becomes hollow, their compliments become clumsy, because none of it matches what they said behind closed doors. And there's a special kind of chaos you create when your success doesn't come from their approval, but from your persistence. It unsettles people when you rise without their permission. It makes them question their own judgments, their own limits, their own lack of courage. Because if you can break through, then what's their excuse for staying exactly where they've always been? Passing becomes a threat to their comfort, not because you stole anything from them, but because your growth exposes the stagnation they tried to disguise as wisdom. Your success is the disruption that shakes the ground beneath their assumptions, and whether they admit it or not, they feel it. They feel the shift. They feel the impact. They feel the truth they tried so hard to bury unraveling right in front of them.
One of the most important truths to understand when you cut off a narcissist is that their reaction has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their ego. Narcissists live in a world where their self-worth is tied to control, admiration, and the constant validation of others. And when you step away, you're essentially threatening the very foundation of who they believe they are. Their panic, their anger, their manipulative attempts to pull you back are not reflections of your choices being wrong, your character being flawed, or your actions being harmful. They are reactions to the fear of losing power, of losing influence, of losing the illusion that they can dictate everything around them. And this is a powerful realization because it shifts the entire dynamic in your favor. Once you see that their chaos is about their insecurity, not about your decisions, you stop taking their behavior personally. You stop feeling guilty for setting boundaries, for walking away, for refusing to participate in the drama they crave. It also allows you to start observing their behavior with clarity and objectivity instead of being emotionally hijacked by it. Their rage, their charm, Their manipulation are all tactics designed to elicit fear, doubt, or compliance, and recognizing this truth gives you the upper hand. You can choose not to engage, not to react, and not to allow their ego-driven chaos to control your emotions or your life. This awareness is liberating because it turns what used to feel like a personal attack into a predictable pattern, a script that you can see clearly and respond to, or not respond to, with intention. And the more you internalize that their behavior is about them and not about you, the stronger your boundaries become, and the more confident you feel in your decision to protect your peace. Over time, this understanding transforms your entire perspective on relationships, on control, and on power dynamics. You begin to realize that freedom is not just about removing a toxic person from your life. It's about reclaiming the mental and emotional space that their ego once occupied and choosing to live your life according to your own values, not according to the reactions of someone else. The clarity that comes from this realization is profound because it shows you that the world is not broken, that you are not at fault, and that walking away from someone who thrives on chaos and control is actually one of the most courageous, empowering decisions you can ever make. Cutting a narcissist off is not just an ending. It is the moment you reclaim your power, and it changes everything about the way you experience your life. For so long, you may have been giving pieces of yourself away, your time, your energy, your emotions, to someone who never truly valued them, someone who thrived on keeping you small, uncertain, and constantly questioning your worth. And when you finally draw the line, when you step away and say, without hesitation or apology, I will no longer allow this in my life, something shifts inside of you. It's subtle at first, a lightness, a sense of relief, a quiet confidence that you haven't felt in years, but it grows rapidly. You begin to notice that you have space to think, to breathe, to make decisions without the constant noise of manipulation or expectation. You start to hear your own voice again, the one that was drowned out by the constant barrage of criticism, blame, and control. Your boundaries, once tested and disregarded, now have meaning because you enforce them consistently and unapologetically. And the more you practice this, the more you realize that your power was never lost. It was just buried under the weight of someone else's need to dominate. Every choice you make now is an act of reclaiming that power, choosing your peace over their drama, your clarity over their confusion, your joy over their attempts to induce guilt. You start to see that freedom is not just about removing a toxic person. It's about stepping fully into your own life, about creating a space where your needs, your desires, and your emotions matter. And as this power grows, so does your confidence, your self-respect, and your ability to recognize toxic patterns in the future before they take root. You begin to understand that cutting someone off isn't about revenge, isn't about anger. It's about self-preservation, growth, and authenticity. It's a declaration that you are no longer willing to compromise who you are for someone else's ego. And with that realization comes an unstoppable momentum, a sense of liberation that carries into every area of your life, reminding you that walking away from a narcissist doesn't close doors. It opens the door to a version of yourself that is stronger, clearer, and more empowered than ever before.
Rising after being dismissed is the most powerful kind of revenge. Not the loud kind, not the dramatic kind people expect, but the quiet, unsettling kind that creeps under their skin and refuses to leave. When someone dismisses you, they think they're closing the book on you. They think their judgment is final, their prediction is absolute, their opinion is destiny. They walk away with that smug confidence, believing they've already seen the full extent of you. They never imagine you're just getting started. They never consider that their dismissal might be the spark that lights your fire. What they don't understand is that being dismissed doesn't weaken you. It sharpens you. It carves away hesitation, slices through doubt, hardens your resolve in ways comfort never could. There's something exquisitely transformative about being underestimated. It gives you a kind of freedom. Because once someone decides you're irrelevant, they stop watching. They stop expecting, they stop guarding, and in that space, you grow. Quietly, strategically, relentlessly, until the version of you they dismissed becomes unrecognizable. They think they pushed you down, but really, they just pushed you out of their limited imagination. And outside their imagination is where your real power begins. It's where you stop trying to prove anything to anyone and start proving everything to yourself. Because rising isn't about showing them. They're just background noise. Rising is about discovering the strength you didn't know you had until their doubt demanded it. Their disbelief becomes your fuel. Their condescension becomes your pressure. And pressure has a habit of creating something sharp enough to cut through anything. And then the moment comes. The moment when you rise high enough that they can't ignore you anymore. You can see the shift in their faces, that twitch in their expression when they realize the person they dismissed is standing above the expectations they set. Their eyes widen, their confidence cracks, their certainty evaporates. It's a beautiful kind of chaos, watching them scramble to rewrite their opinions, to pretend they always knew you had it in you. Even though the truth is etched into the way their voice trembles, there's a poetic justice in rising after dismissal. Not out of spite, but out of inevitability. Because the greatest revenge has never been yelling back or proving a point. It's becoming the person they said you'd never be. It's turning every doubt they threw at you into a weapon they unknowingly forged. It's letting time reveal what their imagination couldn't. And the funniest part is that they'll never fully understand how much their dismissal contributed to your rise. They'll never admit their role in shaping the version of you that outgrew them so completely. People think revenge is about hurting someone else. But the most powerful revenge is when your success haunts them more than any confrontation ever could. When your existence contradicts every word they used to belittle you. When every achievement you earn whispers back to them, reminding them how wrong they were. Rising isn't just growth. It's a disruption, a violation of the narrative they wrote for you. And nothing unsettles them more than realizing they had absolutely no say in who you became. When you break their narrative, you become unstoppable. People love their stories, especially the ones they write about you without ever asking who you really are. They craft these neat little roles, assign you limits, predict your future like they've already read the final chapter. And they cling to those stories, not because they're accurate, but because they're comfortable. It gives them control. It keeps you small. It helps them believe the world is predictable, tidy, safe. But the moment you slip out of the role they scripted, the moment you break a pattern they were certain you'd follow, everything they thought they knew starts collapsing like a badly built stage set. They hate that collapse. They hate when the character they invented refuses to behave. Because once you break their narrative, they lose their sense of power. Suddenly, you're not the version they understood. You're something they can't categorize, can't contain, can't predict. And unpredictability terrifies them. It forces them to confront the possibility that you were never who they claimed you were. Worse, it forces them to confront the fact that they never really knew you at all. You can see the panic in subtle ways. The way their tone shifts. The way their conversations soften around you. The way they start questioning themselves instead of you. Because when the story they told collapses, they're left exposed. They have to face the truth that their certainty was a fantasy they built to protect their ego. They have to admit they were wrong. Not just a little wrong, but completely, fundamentally wrong about the person they thought they had figured out. And once that illusion shatters, something interesting happens. They can't stop watching you. Not out of admiration, out of fear. They start looking at you differently, waiting for the next unexpected move, the next crack in their old script, the next moment you defy the image they constructed. You become a disruption to their comfort, a reminder that life doesn't follow their rules. And the more you grow, the more unstable their narrative becomes. It's like watching someone try to patch a sinking ship with their bare hands. No matter how hard they try to hold on to the story, reality keeps tearing it apart. What they never anticipate is how liberating that moment is for you. Because once their narrative breaks, you stop carrying the weight of their expectations. You stop shrinking to fit their imagination. You stop letting their opinions draw the borders of your identity. Nothing they say can touch you anymore, because their words were built on a foundation that no longer exists. You become untouchable, not because you're perfect, but because you're finally free from their illusions. Breaking their narrative is the moment you reclaim your power. It's the moment you choose your own script instead of acting in theirs. It's the moment you stop living according to their limitations and start living according to your truth. And once you've tasted that freedom, once you've stepped outside the version of you they tried to confine, there is no going back. You don't become unstoppable because you defeated them. You become unstoppable because you outgrew the world they tried to keep you in.